3 days before my wedding, I got a phone call that shattered everything. The venue manager sounded nervous. "I'm so sorry, but your wedding has been canceled." I laughed. "There has to be a mistake." "There isn't. The cancellation came from someone claiming to be your family." At first, I thought it had to be a prank. But when I found out who had canceled my wedding, my heart broke. The person behind it wasn't a stranger. It was my future mother-in-law. She wanted to stop the wedding. But what happened next is something she never saw coming. My name is Adaeze. For 6 years, Emeka had been my best friend. We laughed together, dreamed together, built a future together. When he proposed, I truly believed life couldn't get any better. There was only one problem. His mother, Mrs. Nkem Okafor. From the very first day we met, she made it clear she didn't think I belonged in her family. Every visit came with another criticism. "So, you're really wearing that? I thought Emeka liked ambitious women." "Oh, that's an interesting career choice." She always smiled while saying hurtful things, just enough to make me question whether I was overreacting. Whenever Emeka defended me, she'd sigh dramatically. "I'm only trying to help." After a while, I stopped arguing. Nothing I did was ever good enough. Despite everything, wedding planning was going surprisingly well. We found the perfect venue. A beautiful countryside estate with a lake and gardens. It had taken nearly a year to book. Every detail finally felt real. The flowers, the music, the menu. Everything was falling into place. Or so I thought. Then, 3 days before the wedding, my phone rang. The venue manager sounded confused. "I'm calling to confirm your cancellation." I froze. "My what?" "Your wedding. It was canceled yesterday." "No. There must be some mistake. I'm looking at the paperwork right now." "The woman knew your booking number. She said there had been a family emergency." I felt sick. Emeka looked at me. "What happened?" I could barely speak. "Our wedding. It's gone." Within 30 minutes, we were driving to the venue. The manager greeted us with an apologetic expression. "I'm so sorry." He handed me the cancellation form. The signature wasn't mine, but something caught my attention. The handwriting. I'd seen it hundreds of times. Birthday cards, Christmas notes, family recipes. It belonged to Mrs. Nkem Okafor. Emeka stared at the page. His face turned white. "My mom." Emeka called her immediately. She answered cheerfully. "Hello, sweetheart." "Mom, did you cancel our wedding?" Silence. Then, "I was trying to protect you." Emeka couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Protect me from what?" "You're making a mistake. She isn't right for you. You'll thank me one day." Emeka's voice trembled. "You forged Adaeze's signature. You lied. You nearly destroyed the biggest day of our lives." She didn't apologize. Instead she said, "If the relationship is strong enough, you'll find another venue." Then she hung up. I burst into tears. Months of planning, gone. When my father, Chief Chukwuemeka, heard what happened, he didn't panic. He didn't shout. He simply asked, "Is everyone okay?" I nodded through tears. Dad smiled. "Then leave the rest to me." The next morning, he disappeared. Hours passed. No phone calls. No updates. Then, around lunchtime, he called. "I found us a venue." I laughed. "Dad, every venue has been booked for months. You haven't seen this one." When we arrived, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was breathtaking. An elegant historic estate overlooking a lake. Even more beautiful than our original venue. The owner walked toward Chief Chukwuemeka and hugged him. 40 years earlier, my father had loaned him money to save his struggling business. He had never forgotten. When he heard our story, he refused to charge us a single dollar. "This," he said, "is my gift to your daughter." I cried. Not because of the venue, but because kindness still existed. Meanwhile, Mrs. Nkem Okafor thought she'd won. She told relatives, "The wedding has been canceled." I knew it wouldn't last, but she didn't know. We had quietly updated every guest. Everyone received the new location. Everyone, except Mrs. Nkem Okafor. On the wedding morning, she arrived confidently at the old venue. It was empty, locked, silent. She waited. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Then, her phone began buzzing. Photos, videos, messages. Emeka and I exchanging vows. Our first kiss. The first dance. The cake cutting. The wedding was happening. Without her. Halfway through dinner, the ballroom doors opened. Mrs. Nkem Okafor rushed inside. Out of breath. Furious. Guests turned to look. She marched straight toward Emeka. "How could you do this to me?" Emeka calmly reached into his jacket. He pulled out the fake cancellation form. Then quietly asked, "No, Mom. How could you do this to us?" The room fell silent. "I wanted you here today. I wanted you sitting in the front row. But not if you were trying to destroy our marriage." For the first time, Mrs. Nkem Okafor had nothing to say. She looked around the room. Every guest knew what she'd done. She lowered her head, turned around, and quietly walked away. Several months later, there was a knock at our front door. It was Mrs. Nkem Okafor. She looked tired, older, humbled. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a cashier's check covering every expense we'd lost because of her actions. "I can't change what I did," she said softly. "But I can admit I was wrong." She looked at Emeka. "I spent so much time trying not to lose my son that I almost lost him forever." That night, we didn't erase the pain. Some wounds take time to heal, but we chose to begin again, because forgiveness doesn't excuse what someone did. It simply refuses to let yesterday control tomorrow. Looking back, I learned that some people fear change so much, they'll try to stop your happiness. But love built on trust will always be stronger than fear. And sometimes, the people who try hardest to ruin your future only end up proving how unbreakable it really is. If this story touched your heart, or reminded you that kindness, love, and forgiveness are always stronger than bitterness, please take a moment to like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories filled with drama, life lessons, and unforgettable endings. And let us know in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Adaeze's shoes? Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and never stop believing that the truth always finds its way into the light.